New York City, the Big Apple. The city so nice, they named it twice. I'm walking here. Coffee. I moved to New York City 2 years ago, just after the thick of COVID. So you could say, I'm basically a local. I'm pretty happy here, but that wasn't always the case. Like every jaded West Coast tech bro, making way too much money, and never getting laid, I made this move mainly looking for more opportunities, more single women, more nightlife options, to be closer to home, but mostly pussy. And I figured all these things make for a very happy, fulfilling life. And boy, was I wrong. You all know the old saying, wherever you go, there you are. And boy, here I was. And after enough anxiety-filled Sundays, overrated restaurants, disappointing first dates, in New York City, I finally discovered the true meaning of life. But, most importantly, I learned that the city you live in cannot provide you any meaning at all. The world has gotten a lot smaller in the last 20 years, with the explosion of the internet as well as the tech industry powering it. More than ever, people are becoming hyper-aware of where opportunity lies beyond their hometowns. And on top of that, it seems like every city wants a piece of that Silicon Valley pie, calling themselves the next Silicon Valley, which there are some pretty wild claims being made in that dick-swinging contest. I mean, like Nebraska, Silicon Prairie? You can't be serious. On top of that, social media, and especially TikTok, are also really playing into this. TikTok and Instagram have developed this subculture of romanticizing cities, based on things like nightlife, food, dating, whatever. But not just romanticizing them, also polarizing them.
Ugh, dating in New York City sucks. The weather in Chicago's so bad.
Everything is either the absolute best or the absolute worst. The discussion is so not productive. Like, it feels like every other time I catch up with my old friends, pretty much from the day we turned 20, we're just having the same old circle jerk conversation about what the best cities are. Bro, I heard SF is sick, bro, but too many tech bros, nightlife bro. Is so ass, like, all chicks, dudes, bro. And these discussions go nowhere. Oh, and you know what's the best part? After having these very productive debates about what the best cities are, most of these people never fucking go. And if they do finally go, they will still complain. And nobody is happy. And you know why nobody's happy? That's because, well, life sucks. And everyone has problems. And when things aren't going great with us, like inside, it is always so much easier to look outside at our environment. People are convinced that their location will solve their problems. They come up with a checklist of things that suck about where they currently are, and then they move somewhere else to check those boxes off. Humans in the internet age have developed a condition of just looking externally at screens and information to avoid solving problems internally. And I'm here to tell you, after 6 moves in my 20s, what usually happens is that when you move, you bring this perpetual dissatisfaction and inability to live in the mundane day-to-day in your new place of residence. And this was exactly my experience moving to New York City. About 6 months into living here, I started to question if this was the right city for me. And I tended to fixate on 4 specific things that a lot of people tend to fixate on when they're choosing a place to move. The entertainment, the dating scene, the weather, and the people. I'm going to tell you the story about how I learned that these 4 things do not impact your happiness and really don't matter at all. And speaking of learning, before we continue, I wanted to take a moment to shout out today's sponsor, my first sponsor ever, Brilliant.org. Because let's be honest, if there's anything you should be learning about besides yourself and what's important to you, it's LLMs. Brilliant is a learning platform where you learn by doing, with thousands of interactive lessons in math, data analysis, programming, and AI. And as someone who's not only a content creator, but also constantly working on side projects, keeping my skills sharp is critical. And everyone has different learning styles, but me personally, I like to learn by doing. And that's why I've been diving into Brilliant's course on large language models, like the ones powering ChatGPT. What I loved about this course is how it breaks down complex concepts, starting with the basics, like how a text corpus is used, and then building up to the mechanics of how these models actually work. It's designed to make you understand AI like under the hood, and not just memorize it. And not only is the LLM world quite fascinating, but this knowledge is pretty essential for staying sharp, staying competitive as an entrepreneur, a creator, a job seeker, whatever. And what I really liked about this course on LLMs in particular is that it continually gives you opportunities to apply your knowledge interactively. It's not just passive learning, it's hands-on, which makes a huge difference in my knowledge retention. And the best part about Brilliant is that it fits right into your schedule. Whether you've got 5 minutes between meetings or before bed or between classes, you can learn at your own pace, from anywhere, right on your phone. And like I said, it's not just AI. Brilliant covers math, programming, and data analysis, with lessons that help you build real skills that you can apply to everyday life. So if you're ready to level up, visit brilliant.org/varunrana or scan the QR code on the screen to try brilliant.org for 30 days. And if you're hooked like I was, you'll get 20% off an annual subscription. Anyway, back to the content. Picking a city to move to is about more than just brews, bagels, bitches, bros, and beaches. Let's start with brews and bagels, aka nightlife and dining. 2022, after COVID, I was 26 years old, and I was feeling very deprived of my mid-20s youth. From 24 to 26, I was pretty much inside all the time, and I didn't realize until then that that period of your 20s is actually some of the best time to kind of extend the college years a little bit and just embrace not really having any responsibility other than a job. So yes, there was some much needed debauchery. But what did I do? I visited New York City. I would come here and crash with my friends, and we'd crush a million bars, as one does. We'd go to this bar, that party, this restaurant, and I'm just like, oh my god, the pizza is so good. Oh, I need to move here. And then I did that, all right? I moved here. And the first 6 months was pretty much all the visits I had combined into one 6-month-long vacation. Pizza, alcohol, women. And then it's March, and about 75 bar crawls later, I had enough. I just started to become a little jaded again. Well, in case you haven't seen my YouTube channel, that's what I do. I get jaded about things very quickly and then make YouTube videos about it. I just started to feel like life was a little too fast-paced here. I started to feel like, oh man, no one here really chills, man. Little did I know that I was the one who was not able to chill. And so I started to wonder if I had made the right decision moving here. Maybe visiting a place is very different from living in it. So naturally, I'm like, okay, I gotta go somewhere else. Okay, like New York, not the place. Like, where do I go? San Francisco, LA. You know, then you start reading all the Reddit threads like, oh, what is your experience moving here? And do you think this con is really that bad? Or, hey, people who moved to this city and didn't like it, why did the cons outweigh the pros? You read these Reddit threads and you just try to validate your own overthinking and your own bias. And you're like, man, that other place might be better because some fucking guy on Reddit said so. But then spring in New York City rolls around and you go on another bar crawl when it's warm out. Last night was a movie, bro. Then you go back on the Reddit threads and try to read the negatives about the other place or the positives of this place, and you're like, fuck, man, fuck. Why can't any place be perfect for me? Nightlife here is too much, nightlife there's not enough. Maybe this isn't important to me at all, so maybe I should cancel this out and just cut out nightlife and drinking altogether so that I can... Oh, wow, I have no fucking hobbies. And then you go get the hobbies. You go to that pickleball meetup or whatever, or that fucking climbing gym. It's scary because you go alone, but then you meet people. You do that regularly, and then you're like, wait, am I happy? I think I'm happy. You come to the realization that I could have learned this anywhere. Like, I did not need to be in New York to learn this. So why am I here? So I guess if it's not the nightlife, then it's gotta be the dating, right? Like, that is my New York destiny. Going on lots of Hinge dates. I'm not gonna lie, a big reason that I moved to New York City was because I kept hearing that for guys, especially brown guys, the dating ratio was very good. Look, I don't have a pie chart or data or anything that can really conclusively say that. I can pull up some Reddit threads or Quora threads, but like most of that was just hearsay, okay? Hearsay from other tech guys who moved to New York City looking for the same thing. Cause as the memes say, guys only want one thing and it's fucking disgusting. I'm 26 and it's post-COVID. I'm newly single. I haven't been on a real date in my life, really, like a dating app date. And so in my overly logical mid-20s Indian boy brain, I'm thinking, number of women greater than number of men, then dating in New York equal good. It's like an if statement. And so I get here and okay, the traffic was better, okay? I won't deny that. I get here, I go on many first dates, and 6 months later, I don't meet the love of my life. And then I get very sad. Is there something wrong with me? My approach to dating? My hairstyle? Shall I perhaps buy a gold chain to impress the ladies? Do I bring anything to these interactions that hurts my chances of finding love? Of course not. I'm perfect. I have no flaws. Dating in New York sucks. In this city of 9 million people, I'm not finding my type. So why fix the root of the issue when I can just leave? And then I read about people in the other cities also complaining about dating. And then there's the TikToks about people complaining about dating here too. Is modern dating fucked? Like, yeah, maybe it's the era that I was born in that is preventing me from finding love. And much like my aggressive pursuit of nightlife and dining, I decided to take a break and focus on myself, as they say. So like I said, I took this period to slow down on the drinking and turn off the dating apps and get real hobbies. I took like 3 to 5 months to just kind of do me. And then eventually, that fall of 2023, I decided to get back in the dating world. I actually had interesting things to talk about. It turns out doing fun things for yourself and having a life of your own makes you a more interesting and attractive person. Wow. And then I realized I could have learned that anywhere. I did not need to move to New York to learn this. Why the fuck am I here? And the final thing that I and many people use to judge a city, and this one's my favorite, is the people. Now I know what you're thinking. Varun, aren't the people in a city kind of the most important thing because that's going to be your community? Well, look, hear me out. After scrutinizing the entertainment, the dating, the weather, I just started to find flaws in all different kinds of things. And people are a very convenient thing to find flaws in. I spent so much time trying to find flaws in every single person that I interacted with.
And do you mind taking a picture of us? You're so mean. Dude, do you want your luggage?
To almost like validate my own insecurity about living here, like people's personalities, people's values, people's hobbies, whatever. And then of course, you go back to old reliable Reddit. You read about people in other places and people in this place are so down to earth and so nice and I should move there. That place might be better for me because nice people, good people don't exist here in this city of 9 million people. I should go there. But again, it was during that phase of hobby seeking, playing pickleball, climbing, whatever. It was during that discovery phase that I actually started to make friends, like new friends, that I had more in common with than just crushing beers. I start to make all these cool friends that I like to do things with in this new life and this new version of me that I've become. And I'm no longer around those like annoying douchebags anymore. And then I realized I'm happy. And then I realized I could have done this anywhere. Every city has its own form of douchebags, okay? Like, look, People are always gonna be like, oh, and especially in New York. Literally the other day I was walking by a coffee shop and this guy was sitting there, said the classic fucking New York quote. Oh man, I was in LA, man. The vibes were off, man. The vibes were so off in LA. I feel like people there are fake and shit. Look, fake, shitty people exist everywhere, okay? You got your tech douchebags in one city, you got your finance douchebags in the other city, you got your crypto douchebags in that city, you've got your hiking dude. Every place has bad people, and you don't have to be around them if you don't want to. You have a lot more agency over the people you surround yourself with than you give yourself credit for. Just looking for things to find fault with, just looking for every flaw that I can, because deep down, I am not secure. I don't feel a sense of home within my own self. And that's the problem. I am not secure within myself. And so I look outside for things that are wrong with the outside world, and I think that fixing them will make me feel better in here, but that's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. And I learned that the very long and expensive way. Now look, I'm not saying you shouldn't move ever, okay? Like obviously if you need to get out of a bad situation, you get a job opportunity. I'm saying that people like me, who usually come from a place of privilege, when people like us choose where to go, the reasoning that people use in this day and age to make that decision is often pretty flawed. My point is, whether it's entertainment, dating, weather, the people, whatever, these are all pretty surface level things. Yes, even people. And if you don't believe me, then go. I encourage you to just go. Do what I did, but just know that you will hit that wall. And it wasn't until about a year into living here that I started to realize that there really is no perfect place to live. This place will never be perfect, and no place will never be perfect. Every place has its own pros and cons. And so, how do you know which cons to deal with then? Well, you just have to try. And once you truly give it your best effort, like I did about 6 months to a year into living here, and once you push past that wall of pizza and women and douchebags, you will realize what is actually important in choosing a place to live. It's 3 main things. First and foremost, can you get a fucking job? This is like the number one thing. Is there opportunity for you to make money and have somewhere to be in adult daycare every day? The second thing is, do you know anyone there? It's totally okay if you don't, but moving somewhere where you know at least one person decently can save you at least a year of depression. And finally, is there a community for you? And no, I don't just mean a community of people with the same hobbies, like running, pickleball, climbing, whatever. Every city has meetups for these things now. Like, you will find people with the same hobbies no matter where you go. What I mean is a community of people who are striving for the same things in life. People who are trying to build a similar future as you. Because when you go to fucking pickleball meetups and run clubs, you'll meet all kinds of goobers at these things, okay? It's the people you meet at these things that share the same visions, like making it big in tech startups, or wanting to be a content creator, or a big-time musician, or whatever. The people you meet at these things who are trying to build themselves into the same thing that you want to be, these are the people that will become your lifelong friends. It's these people who are on the same journey as you, who inspire you to be better or share the same struggles as you on that journey, who will become your tight-knit friends, and who will keep motivating you to stick with the bad shit, like the weather, like the cost of living, like the fast-paced lifestyle, like the people, like the dating scene, whatever. These people will make it all worth it. For me, New York was the first place I ever linked up with other content creators. Pretty much instantly, I learned a ton, became really great friends with these people, and slowly became obsessed with this thing. This thing I've always been obsessed with, I became like more obsessed with because I was around people who were also obsessed with it and building towards something. Having other people in a similar space, in close proximity, has been all the difference in turning this from just a dream into a very real reality.
What's up, everyone? I'm in New York. Do you want to make a TikTok? Sure.
It's absolutely what is keeping me here. The community of content creators and all the opportunities that surround that is 100% what is keeping me here. It's what gets me through the anxiety Sundays, the bad dates, the shit winters, and the occasional finance douchebag. Just don't go to Miami, alright? Because it's probably going to be underwater in like 75 years. Yeah.